Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Karis. You're watching You Don't Scare Me. If you guys are new here, this is kind of what Nick and I do. On occasion, we'll have a third person, but typically it's going to be Nick and I reviewing ghost videos that are popular on the internet right now and sort of either debunking them or just talking about them or giving our own opinions on them. Nick and I are both skeptics. Not necessarily that we don't believe in ghosts, but we're heavily on the side of they don't exist. But we are welcome to any evidence that is going to prove it wrong or prove us wrong, for that matter. As always, our penultimate goal here is to review and to find evidence of ghosts and to convince ourselves that ghosts exist. Then our ultimate goal is to create a baseline research collection of EVPs and FBAs and everything that you would use to sort of compare notes with other investigators. A lot of this stuff is just fluff, it's filler, it's all for entertainment purposes. My biggest critique for these things, and the reason that I do this primarily, is because I'm always on the search for actual paranormal evidence. And what we're getting from these people is fraud. They're trying to convince us that ghosts exist using their own smoke and mirrors, their own, BS. But that's kind of devaluing the scientific field, in my opinion. And so I'm out here sifting through all these videos, watching them all, just sort of, combing through and trying to find the ones that make me go, huh. And when I do find those, I'm going to put them aside, and then later in the end of the year, we're going to do a roundup of all the cool videos, and Nick and I are going to sit here and we're going to talk about all the interesting stuff that we came across. Obviously not too great, because like Nick and I have only been doing this since like probably around like June or July, so yeah. Anyways, if you guys like what we do, stick around, hit the subscribe button, drop us a like, maybe even drop us a comment, tell us what we're doing better, tell us what we're doing wrong. Right now, we're trying out a new format. So like today, obviously, I'm going to be switching to my new format since it is November. I'm sort of like trying to figure out these ropes. I've got my shotgun mic up here. I think that went really well in the last episode that I released, which is November 1st. This microphone is pretty much just for show right now because every time I talk to it, it peaks and it produces like the worst audio. So I've pretty much I'm just using them as parallels, so that if the audio doesn't go through here, then I can grab the audio from here. Plus, that's adorable. I swore in the first 2 minutes of the video. I'm gonna bleep that out. But anyway, this is adorable. My partners did that for me. We've got other little spooky things coming out. If you guys are interested in this, and yeah, and you want one for yourself, take a screenshot and I don't know, make one. They're not for sale. If you guys do find this interesting and you want one of these for yours, this is a Yeti Nano. If you guys do want one of these for yourself, I'm sure I can convince her to make one for you and send it off. Obviously, you'll have to pay for it just because we're living paycheck to paycheck here and then doing this for fun. So, in any case, enough about me. Let's get into the video. New format. Who dis? Hang on, I got to figure out which button to push. That one. See? New format. Who dis? And then, if the cool thing is too, is that if I hit the space bar here, the video starts. And it also puts a chapter marker in so I can edit it later.
Welcome to Fearsome Top 5. Today we're gonna dive into 8 scary videos that are ridiculously creepy. Number 1. In 2013, a YouTube user that goes by Zero Fox posted a video to show off the different vision modes on the Xbox One Kinect. But what was meant to be just a quick video he was recording in his room may have accidentally turned into incredible proof of the paranormal.
Do that. Fixed it. Got audio. I missed the context. Is he going over this guy again? Is that buzzing in the video or me? Is that buzzing me or the video? Ugh. Okay. So I've talked about this one in great length before, but I just want to point out a couple of really quick things about the Kinect camera. A lot of people use it as an SLS camera, or the SLS camera as a ghost hunting tool. However, let me dispel a couple of things really quickly, as fast as I can rapidly shoot them out. First and foremost, the Kinect camera is not meant to be moved around. It's meant to be in an open area. So when you place it at your TV, think about it like a Wii, the Wii Motion bar from the original Wii. It needs to be in a clear line of sight. It needs to be in an open area, and you need to move furniture away from it. That's one, to stop you from punching the table when you're playing your games, and two, so that the Kinect camera can properly identify your entire person. The problem with the Kinect camera is that it doesn't actually understand what a human is. It just has a repository of potential positions and potential motions that a human might take. So when you see the telemetry giving like a human shape and they're like sort of dancing around and stuff like that, it's because it's approximating the position of a human. It's not saying there's a head, an arm, a leg, and a leg. Oh my God, there's a human. It's going, I think this little shadow here is a human. So we're just going to try to do our best to draw a human in this position. And oh, look, they're dancing because there's no human there. It's approximating that information. The Kinect camera does not have a brain to think for itself and to delineate what is real and what is not. Okay, and that's a common trope with a lot of technology here, is that people will always look at these things and say that's evidence that there's a ghost there, when in fact the simple fact of the matter is that it doesn't have the human logic to delineate the difference between real and not real. And so just like a child's brain, it will essentially just like think whatever it's thinking is real. So what I mean to say is that the only way the Kinect camera will work is if it's in a stationary position, i.e. not moving, not attached to a gimbal or a screen walking around a room, and two, if there's a clear area around it, okay? And the clear area around it prevents it from picking up ambient objects in the room and turning them into people and effing with your game. Now, the reason that it can't move is because it needs a stable and static image to project a dot matrix on the walls and then approximate the position of the humans based on the amount of interference between the light that's being cast out and being returned, how fast it's returned to the camera. So the reason that people will walk around with the camera and see ghosts all the time when they're walking around with the SLS camera on their hand is because the system can only work if the lights are being returned at the exact same rate that they're being distributed. And so when you're walking around, it's changing that number constantly. And so they're always picking up ghosts. It's not a proper form of scientific research. You cannot use the SLS cameras, the Kinect cameras, to detect ghosts because it doesn't understand that what it's looking at is a human or a wall that's suddenly moved closer to it. So if you're going to set up an SLS camera and you're going to try to record a ghost, you need to set it up in like the top right corner of a bedroom or a living room or any kind of room you're in, and have it completely blanketing the entire area and 100% still and unobstructed. Then you will get correct information from it. Then you might get correct ghost sightings from it, because then it will be approximating the position of the ghost and not the bookshelf that suddenly is moving around the frame. So in this guy's case, he's got this little shadow person behind him. And one of the things is if the shadow person is visible on the standard view, like your black and white, like the color you're looking at right now, if the shadow person showed up right behind me, yeah, by all means, that would be pretty creepy, because that information is being drawn in the parallel to whatever's behind me. However, when you switch to low light situations and it kicks on the infrared blaster, the infrared does not pick up on shadows. It will only pick up on the absence of light. Okay, and what I mean by that is the area around the guy's head. You'll see there's a shadow behind him. That shadow is not. It's a really gross looking really gross looking stuff in my armpit there. It's just deodorant. But in any case, when you see the shadow behind the guy, the shadow behind him is the absence of light being returned to the aperture on the camera. Okay, that means it's not detecting any light being returned. Therefore, it interprets it as black. Okay. Now, when you see something that absorbs 100% of light, like that object there, when the ghost that appears in the camera, the principle is that the IR is being 100% blocked by the object that has entered the frame, and therefore the system is returning a null because there's nothing there. Okay? And infrared travels an incredibly great distance and then comes back. Think about this. The reason that infrared is so good at detecting low light situations like night vision goggles and stuff like that is the same reason why you could look up into the sky and see stars. That light is infrared. That light has been traveling for billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of miles to get to your eyes. Okay? And so the principle that I'm trying to express here is that if there's something blocking or something that's absorbing 100% of light and not letting it return to you, it will show up on an infrared camera like that. But that shadow person would not have shown up unless it was so dark or so black, like a Zentai suit, or like a morph suit, or something that was painted in like pure, what do you call that, black 3.0, where it was absorbing 100% of light, and so the camera didn't have anything to interpret, right? So if it was a ghost, it was the darkest manifestation of blackness that you could possibly imagine. Otherwise, it wouldn't have shown up like that.
Number 3. If you've been on TikTok lately, then chances are you've come across countless videos of mysterious things seen in the sky. Unexplainable glowing objects
UFOs!
spotted across the
Or
globe.
UAPs, sorry. That's a thing that a lot of people hate now. So UFO was discontinued as an abstract term used to describe an unidentified flying object in military terms. They switched it to UAPs because the UFO is so like spread out into the
Something bright can be seen moving through a massive cloud, and as this object came into view, we can see a tiny ball of light floating through the sky. This small illuminated object had to be moving at a very high speed, and whatever it is, it doesn't resemble any aircraft that I've ever seen. Yosef turned to TikTok looking for answers, but unfortunately for him, I have no idea what the hell this thing is.
Okay, it could be a flare, but traveling that speed and that straight of a line, and that going through the clouds, that was perfect. Okay, that was in my first viewing of that object. I would say 100% without a shadow of doubt that thing was there. There's two things that could mess with that though. One is it's a helicopter or a flying plane with a light on it that's being angled towards the camera person. So what they're capturing is just the 100% absorption of the light that's being projected at them, and so their camera is sort of just like overwhelmed by that. Think about when you look at a street light in the camera, and sometimes it's like bloomed out, and all you can see is that street light. But then if you like click on it, you can like close the iris a bit or like readjust the aperture so that it lets in less light, and then you can see the object, right? So in this case, he's letting in 100% of the light through his camera because his camera isn't focused on that particular pin of light. And so it's hard to determine what the shape of that object was, whether it was an airplane, a helicopter, or, a fighter jet or anything like that. The absence of sound suggests to me that it was not a helicopter. And you guys might have not noticed this, but over the last, say, like 20, 30 years, things have gotten extraordinarily more streamlined for airplanes. So, like, back in the day when we were recording videos, you would always hear airplanes. You'd be like, oh, gotta wait for the plane to go by. Notice that you don't hear planes anymore? The reason you don't hear planes anymore is because they've fixed the technology. They've made it so that the sound of the airplane comes out in a horizontal line around the object rather than being directed down to the ground. This is just by repositioning the jet engines and sort of like making the planes more aerodynamic and stuff like that, so that they cut the wind and project the sounds at that level rather than projecting the sounds downward and then echoing off the ground and causing all that chaotic sound that we used to hear. So that's just technology improving. So there was no helicopter sound because obviously that's a blade and you can't really stop that from echoing against the ground unless you have a stealth helicopter, kind of like the Black Hawk helicopters they used in Operation Desert Storm. But in any case, so not a helicopter, probably not a plane. So that is what I would describe as a genuine UAP. That is an unknown aerial phenomenon. Okay, that doesn't mean it's a UFO. That just means that nobody can currently explain what that was. Now, it could have been a flare, it could have been a drone. It was moving way too quickly for a drone. The camera wasn't sped up. So if I was to be, I could even like go back to the face cam here and then use that chapter marker to replay this clip over and over again. Obviously, I won't do that on here because then I'll screw up my timing. But yeah, so what I'm saying is that this is probably a UAP. This could be a UFO. This could be an actual, honest to God, unknown aerial phenomenon or alien-like entity. I like this. This is a cool one. This is going in my. I should make a spreadsheet, but this is going to go in the ones that make me go, huh? I'm going to show this to Nick a little bit later on. Maybe I'll do a roundup, and at the end of the year, we'll just do a massive review of all of them. This will be like December 31st. Clean slate, end of the year, let's wipe the table clean and let's start again, go from there. But I genuinely like this one, so let's stick a pin in this one, and we'll check this one out a little bit later on to see how it's panning out. This is a cool. Go.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Speaking of UFOs, countless people across Indiana have reported seeing strange things in the skies above. Unexplainable flashing lights that seem to flicker
Gotta
and
fix that. The
simultaneously
macros
appear.
don't work.
Curious bystanders quickly pulled out their phones, hoping to capture proof of this bizarre phenomenon. One of these bystanders being a woman named Christina from Tacoma, Indiana.
See it? All?
Oh,
Oh, Daddy, we see them.
those are flares.
What is the world? There's another one right there.
I know.
So what this appears to me to be is a plane that's
These peculiar
flying.
lights appeared in the night
You could see
sky,
kind of
one
like it's a
after
little
the
bit of
other.
a
And as
the
this glowing
illumination
anomaly
as the
fades
light
across
starts to
the
travel
sky,
across the sky
Christina
and then
and her
reach the
daughter
aperture.
couldn't help but
You can
stare
kind of
as
see
they
how
tried to
it's
think of
blooming
any
out.
possible
So sort of what it
explanations for
suggests to me is
this.
that
A
it's
man
a
named
plane,
Chad,
a
also
military
from
plane that's
Tacoma,
flying and
witnessed
dropping
something that
flares
stopped him in his
one after
tracks.
another.
Yeah, it's just real weird.
It's a military exercise.
Disappear, come back.
You can
Disappear.
kind of see a little bit of a ghost on the bottom there.
Huh.
2 clusters of lights hovered high above the town below, with glowing orbs seeming to simultaneously appear and vanish.
Let me point out something actually that's interesting about this. See, the microphone just peaked. um, so this is probably a military exercise. They're probably just dropping flares or like setting off flares from the back of military planes to do sort of because they're they have to do training and they have to do a lot of other things like that. If you guys have ever played Ace Combat, you might know that they use them to dispel like the Angel of Death, I think is what it is, from the AC-130. It shoots off like this like spread of flares that sort of like come out like wings and drop down. What it is it's a thermal discharge that masks the private location of the original plane, so that any kind of surface to air missiles or surface to air weaponry cannot detect the location of the original plane. So probably what's happening here is that it's a military drill where they're training their people on how to disappear from radar. To disappear from those sort of systems, because obviously we're at a point right now where we're in the precipice of war. We're dealing with a lot of this sort of stuff that's going on right now, and so it becomes more and more important for our pilots to be able to avoid danger, and the flares are how they do that. Now, second off, this kind of reminds me, if I'm going to try to like remember what I was thinking about, it reminds me of this sort of this principle or this like story that people were saying back in the day, where the say like the Illuminati or the the secret the shadow government. Um, there was this story that came out that I was listening to on, I want to say, the Y Files. I think it was. What it was it was this project that they had presented, where they were going to trick the population into believing that aliens had come, and sort of force them to either unify or force them to sort of like fight each other or something like that, to reform the world. This is like a new world order kind of dealio. False idols and stuff like that, and they were going to use like projections to do it, like holographic projections. I'm not totally clear on what I'm trying to say here, but whenever you catch sightings of like things like this, where the military are doing these exercises, it's almost like they do these things so that they can test the response rate of civilians, right? So if everybody's recording this, they can sort of determine how much did the civilians see, how much did the civilians report, how can we reduce that rate or increase that rate. Like if there was a threat from, or like an interstellar threat, and they wanted people to report when that thing was available, they want to crowdsource the sort of the reporting location of that anomaly. And so it's almost like they run these drills to sort of train the civilian population to call it in, but in the same way, they almost it's almost like they're trying to normalize it so that civilians don't call in. It could be like A or B, like a heads or tails sort of situation. In my opinion, if I were to trust the government, I would say that they're trying to train the civilian population into properly responding and reporting anomalous activity like this. Um, or just sort of trying to crowdsource like that response. Like if I were testing a weapon system or testing a military weapon system, and I wanted to see different perspectives on it, I could set up relay points all across an entire map. Like say I wanted to go into like San Diego or something like that, or San Francisco, and I had like people at the shoreline, people at the in the mountains, people all around, sort of recording this position to see how the ground interprets our military exercises. Or I can just run the military exercise and see what kind of reports come in and what kind of visuals I see from that. That's a project manager mentality towards it, is trying to disperse the labor cost on interpretation like this, or potential for training civilians to respond to alien threats or interstellar threats or any kind of like unknown phenomenon, like people reporting weather balloons or the Chinese balloons that were coming across the ocean. It's a quick way for the military to respond to things, because they're not relying so heavily on their troops to gather all the information, but the entire population of a civilized area. That's just my opinion on that situation.
I had never seen anything like this before, and intently watched as these lights slowly disappeared one by one.
10 to 1 though. That's
like these seem to be getting more common.
Those are just flares, military flares.
We might be making friends with aliens very soon.
Ooh, I didn't like that.
Number 5.
F the Greys. I hate Greys. Sorry, if there are any Grey aliens out there, sorry, I don't mean that I hate you. You're kind of like the creepiest, depiction of aliens that I could possibly imagine is the Grey alien.
Goodbye. Now ever since,
like even the xenomorph isn't as unsettling to me as the Asgardians.
And this seems to be when this entity becomes most active.
From Stargate. I don't know if you guys
feeling crazy.
I don't know if you guys are following that.
These bone-chilling.
Just Google Thor Stargate.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with these dogs, bro. They're scared of some.
Dogs are dumb.
I'm telling you.
Oh, bro. It's this guy.
That's the second time I heard those fucking bells, bro.
There's a fucking weird cat out here.
The second time. I'm home all the fuck alone, bro.
That's a weird
Nobody is home.
cat.
Nobody.
There's a fucking weird cat out here. That's what it sounds like. Is he watching Emperor's New Groove?
Nobody is home.
What the hell is that? Scooby-Doo?
Bells.
I can't. Maybe.
What's wrong?
American Dad?
What's wrong? What do you see? You see something?
Dogs don't see shit.
You see something over here?
You see, I know this video is going to be incredibly long, but let me just get this off my chest. So, ghosts dogs don't interpret ghosts, they interpret you, okay? So what you have right now is you have two dogs which have the predator sense, the hunting sense, the ancient sort of what do you call that? Generational hunting instinct, like the wolf instinct, that are looking at you, the pack leader, or the pack leader right now, and you're agitated, and you're hunting, and you're speaking violently. So the dog is interpreting your position as a threat, and so you walking around your house, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? It's what it's doing is it's triggering the dogs to feel that particular way and to interpret it. And so the dog is currently following you at heel. It's at your heel because it's interpreting a threat, and it's following you because you're prepared to engage in something, and it's going to either defend you or you're protecting it because it's a weaker dog. So the principle here that I'm looking at is this person has agitated their dogs into feeling a particular way because of the way that he's reacting to his environment. So that's one principle. That's one potential. I'm not an expert in dogs. Don't give me that. This is just my personal interpretation of this. You might disagree with me. Drop it in the comments below. Let me know that I'm an idiot. Okay, but that's one way to look at this. The second way to look at this is that dogs are stupid, and they bark at their own shadows, their own tails, because they can't delineate. Again, like that human concept. You're giving the dog a human brain, but dogs don't have that same interpretation. They don't have that same structure to their brains. They can't delineate the difference between real and fictional, or they might see something that stresses them out that's nothing to us. Like think about cats, for instance. Every time you put down a cucumber behind them, they think it's a snake or something, right? They're scared. You know what I mean? They get startled by something that's randomly appeared, and then That's not because it's a snake, because it wasn't there before, and then it appears to be a snake or something, or appears to be a threat to them, so they jump, right? So think about that. Like, humans would turn around and go, cucumber. Cat would turn around and go, ah! You see what I'm saying? So, like, dogs are the same way. You can't apply human logic to a dog, because dogs can't delineate the difference between a threat and a non-threat. Think about how often they growl and pounce at stuffed animals because they can't understand the fact that it's a stuffed animal, and then you're attributing this stupid behavior to it's cursed, it's a ghost. You know, it's not. It's just a dumb dog. Okay, sorry.
Those bells. I heard them motherfuckers twice.
So you got a friend upstairs who's
What
dropping
the
something from the mezzanine or
is
from
going
the
on?
roof.
Petey! Petey!
Petey doesn't give a fuck.
Petey!
Petey understands there's no threat.
Petey, what's going on?
You see, you're stressing your dog out.
The TV turned on. The fucking TV turned on.
My guy,
Petey,
it's
let's go.
remote controlled.
Go, Petey. Go. Go out. Go out. Go out. Go. Go out. Go out. Go out. Go out. Go out.
But leave the other dog. F the other dog. Forget the other dog.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going? It turned off. It turned off.
Yeah,
Bentley,
you've
let's
got a
go.
friend in the house
Billy,
with the
get
remote.
out. Let's go. Tiberius, let's go. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Let's go.
These dogs don't give a shit.
Lucy. Oh my God. Charlie, let's go. Come on.
You're just stressing your dogs out for no good reason, my guy.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Come on, T. Come on. Lucy.
Matty was on high alert when his dogs began acting afraid of something.
He's not acting afraid, he's just chilling, guy.
The door randomly made noise, and as he went downstairs to investigate, decorative balls flew out of a bowl and onto the floor. The final straw for Matty was when the TV turned on and
No one's telling him I'm home alone.
sending him rushing outside and trying to save his dogs.
Didn't lock my front door.
Oops. So could these eerie events be linked to the Ouija board?
Maybe I'm being too loud, my neighbor's gonna kick my ass.
Number 6. Over on the Love Sundays YouTube channel, a man named Sean frequently posts
that guy's an idiot.
stealth camping adventures. From videos
Stealth camping is hella threatening.
Having a camping adventure with his adorable son, Sean is all about that van life. In one of his videos, he set his sights on spending the night on the side of the road with a beautiful view of the ocean. The night was going smoothly as he prepared some dinner and went for a stroll along the water as he ate.
So,
as the sun went
I'll always point out, people are more dangerous than ghosts.
But little did he know that would soon be interrupted.
I just heard something outside. What? I think they've gone. They literally tried to get in the van.
It's probably a homeless person.
It wasn't just a knocking, they were trying their handle.
Yeah, so, like,
Outside.
people are like that. So he's not alone, obviously. He's on a busy enough road. You've got a vehicle
Was pounded then.
parked in an inappropriate place. Actually, this is why you set up perimeter cameras around your vehicle, like dash cams or something.
Trying to move me on or trying to break into the van. Either way, not pleasant.
Yeah, like,
I think that if I'd heard them coming in more, I've got a metal pole here. I could have just got out and not done anything. I'm not moving. Probably not going to sleep now, though.
At 2 a.m., the sound of someone knocking on the outside of the van woke Sean up.
Yeah, so
His eyes
you've got a
immediately
vehicle that's
widened, and his
parked
heart skipped a beat when he
seemingly
then heard the
illegally on the
person
side of
banging on
the
the
side of a
door,
road,
trying to get
and
inside.
there's somebody
This
who's
anxiety-inducing
investigating the
moment
truck.
kept him awake for the rest of the night. As he anxiously laid in bed, intently
When you think
listening
about
for whoever was lurking
vehicles parked in
outside.
strange
Lucky
places,
for
you
him,
know,
this
it could
person
be
must have
somebody in
moved on
distress
as he survived to
or
see the
an
next
abandoned
morning.
vehicle or what have
But the
you.
thought
But
of
typically,
someone
if you're not
trying
in a
to enter your
parking lot and
van
you're
in
just
the
parked
middle
off
of
to
the
the side of the
night
road in
is
a
downright
strange place,
chilling,
people will
as
try
you
to
never
investigate
know
the
if they have
vehicle.
sinister intentions.
And like, if it's a
Number
homeless
7.
person, they're like, maybe it's an
For
abandoned
the
vehicle
last
that I
few
can take. Maybe
years,
it's an
the
abandoned
YouTubers
vehicle I
we
could
call
live in
Professor Cynical
or
started to
sleep in for the
notice
night because
strange
it's 2
things
a.m. and I'm
happening in his
tired.
home.
Or
Door
it's
handles
somebody who's a
shaking because
concerned
someone is
citizen,
trying to
or it's
open
somebody
them,
who's just
and
trying to
objects
break into the
moving
vehicle to
completely on
steal
their
whatever
own.
they can steal,
As his name
tools or what have you,
suggests,
because
he's
it is a
very
Sprinter-looking
cynical when
van.
it comes to the paranormal,
You know,
and definitely is not a big believer.
not a Sprinter
But when
van,
he
but you know
set
what I
up
mean,
his
like it's
camera
a
to catch
utility
this
van.
activity, it became a lot harder to
So
explain
I
what
wouldn't.
was happening.
Yeah, it's creepy, but it's just, oh, this guy.
Every other day, pretty much, this happens. I posted about this before, but people just saying, "Oh, the dog."
I'm gonna leave this freeze frame up while I talk about this so that you can get an idea what I'm talking about. This is what's called a composite shot. Okay, it's a composite frame. This gentleman right here is sitting on the right side of a view of the screen, and there's so what he's done is he's recorded it twice. One where he's behind the door messing with the door handle, okay? And then he's recorded himself sitting in front of the door and talking to the door and sort of like that. But the problem is that his framing is off. He's not really looking in the right position. He's not responding correctly. What I'm gathering here is, and you can do two different things, okay? You can do two different ways of doing this, okay? The first way is you split it right down the middle. On the left side of the video, you have the door handle, and on the right side of the video you have yourself, okay? But what I would do is I would actually just keyframe the door handle itself and then walk around and make it seem like it's not keyframed, right? And so what I mean by that is the door handle moving is like a 2-second animation. It's 2 seconds worth of clip, right? Well, watch, right? That it just moves a little bit, whatever, okay? And so I just wish I could like stop and do this myself. I could show you this. I did it. If you guys check out our YouTube shorts, there's the closet and the ghost at Edinburgh when I was in Scotland. That was just me, man. What I did was I cropped the view of the entire video. I left my camera sitting in one position. I had the selfie stick remote. I left my camera sitting there. I hit record on my selfie stick remote, and I opened up the closet door, right? And then what I did was I got out of the closet, and then I walked over and I talked to my partner, and I was like blah blah blah, setting up the scene as me sitting at the very end, and then I walked off scene to grab a Dr Pepper and came back, and I literally walked off screen, grabbed the Dr Pepper and came back, like one quick flow, right? Easy, right? But what I did was I had cropped the video of the door opening to just the door, and I overlaid it on top of my camera view of the whole hallway. And so from your perspective, you just see me at the end of the hallway, my partner's legs on the bed, and the door opening. And then I come over, I pick up the camera, and I show the whole scene. Like there's nobody in here. Like oh, that's crazy, you know? And like I don't know much about video editing, and that took me a couple seconds to put together. That was the first video I had ever edited in earnest. Like the only thing I've ever done editing wise, and it came out what I would consider deceptive enough to trick your average layman. So that's what this guy's doing. It's just a composite shot. Think of that guy on TikTok who's like, I forget the Steven or whatever. This is his ghost, where he's sleeping on the couch and there's like shit breaking on the other side of the couch, or in the door opens, or he's like the candle's being blown out, or the ball's being thrown across the room. That's what's called a composite shot, where you take two of the exact same still images and you overlay them on top of each other. You crop one and you play the other one. So think about every time a YouTuber shows themselves talking to themselves, like, oh, ho, ho, ho. That's a composite shot. That's two videos being played at the same time, overlaid, but cropped down the middle so they meet and form this scene. You could probably examine this sort of doorway here and find that crop, that line. I can kind of I might vaguely see a line that's running down the center of the frame here, possibly, but yeah, this guy, he does it a lot. He does it a lot. See, he's not properly responding to it. His the frame rate is different too.
Just getting worse.
Like, he's glitching out, but his door handle isn't. Now you see the composite ends. See the composite ends. He turns off the cropping.
I'll show you. Well, there's literally nothing here.
And yeah, you see, this is what's called deception. He's proving his video's not real.
There's literally just
You know what, man? Like, maybe I'll just
there's literally nothing.
Maybe I'll just do this. I'm gonna pause this, okay? Just to explain properly. Let's do this, okay? I'm gonna mess up my video a little bit here by doing this, but let's say I'm over here and I'm, oh my god, a ghost! And then I'm gonna turn myself around and be like, I'm a ghost! There you go. That's a composite. Enjoy that. I hope that works out. Karis, do the edit there. Cut it, lay it, put it, do whatever you need to do. Okay. But that's a composite shot. This video is almost 40 minutes long already.
Find the camera.
Yeah, that's just a composite shot, and then you can continue to roll after that. It doesn't have to be fixed to a gimbal or a camera mount or anything like that. You can just pick up the camera and walk away with it, because you're establishing your original shot. You record your ghost video first, your ghost footage first. That's your establishing shot. And the ghost isn't in the camera. Oh, there he is, spooky. That's a ghost. Anyways, so okay, so again, like, it's an establishing shot. He's either got a friend who slid that across, or that's the composite shot. He's now composited in the front right corner. Turn the composite off. Right? I could do this. I might do this. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to release like a YouTube short on how to do these videos. I'll do that today probably. I've got time. Plus I got my tripod.
The handle on the door violently shook, as if someone or something.
Oh, you see the glitch on the door or on the light socket there?
Quickly yanked the door open. He revealed that no one was on the other side, and to his surprise, a bag suddenly slid across the floor. He's been left without answers, as he can't seem to wrap his head around what's been happening. In an attempt to catch more proof, he set up a camera to record, but what ended up happening sent chills down his spine.
That's why I always say that stationary cameras, like static cams, are never really an indication of ghost videos. You need to have multiple positions. There was a cut there.
Sick of this.
Dude, just clean your fucking room.
So just to show you guys that there's
Yikes.
literally
It's a fire hazard. You got cardboard sitting on top of the stove. It's a gas stove.
literally nothing.
You got this huge living room, and your desk is crammed into the kitchen?
It's crazy.
Buddy, come on. Look at the cardboard sitting. There's.
Right.
That's a fire hazard, my guy. Oh, the TV's on.
That wasn't.
He's drumming up suspense. He's drumming up suspense. Wait a minute.
Try and get set back up here.
The TV. It wasn't on.
I've never tried to go out before. Apparently, it's a ghost. Again, I'm not saying I believe in that stuff. I really.
So he's a skeptic, which makes the evidence more viable. But again, composite shot here. He's got a split down the middle. He's got his door to the left. He's got himself to the right. He's gonna put something that's gonna happen on the left of the screen. Either something's gonna move towards him, or the door's gonna close.
Is there any ghosties about? Can you make something move again?
It's very poor acting, in my opinion. He fully well knows what's going on. He doesn't know how to like draw himself up to the image. A lot of like the ghost videos that Nick and I were trying to make. Yeah, see, there it is.
Now,
A lot of the
from
ghost videos that
videos
Nick
I've
and I were
seen
trying to make
online about,
initially
like,
were practical
having
effects,
camera
where
a
we were
lot,
trying to tie things around
people
door
saying all
handles
about,
and
like, orbs,
sort of
but
stuff like that. But like the
I mean,
fact of the matter is,
what
it
is an
doesn't
orb? Can
need to
these
be
look
like
like
that.
ghosts?
You can just do
So let
composite
me know
shots
in
and
the
edit
comment
it
section if you
after the
think that
fact.
it's really dusty in here,
Now he's got
or
both
it's
of his
something
hands in front of
that
his
I
face. He's
maybe
trying to
should
make it the
be
first
more
person
aware of.
perspective because the horror value of like Silent Hill, sort of, or whatever, the first person.
Don't worry
The
about that.
Blair
That
Witch
was
is
my
a prime
air
example of
freshener
this.
going
Is
off
people like the candid
automatically.
camera, the
8
found
minutes.
footage sort of thing.
Bargain.
Oh, and now your door's closing on its own.
Nah, mate. Nah.
Again, like,
Nah.
why don't you have a camera
Nah,
inside the other room?
I am
You've set up a
moving
camera. You've
things.
obviously got like a dollar store ring light.
Just like before, the door
You
handle
know, and
finally
you fancy
began to
yourself a
shake.
video game streamer or
Cynical
something.
grabbed his camera and quickly threw the
But
door open to prove that no one was on the other side causing this to
he's
happen.
got a fucking 2
He
liter
then
of Coke
tried
on
to
the ground.
communicate
Oh
with
my
whatever is
god.
in his home and asked the entity if it could make something move. Then suddenly a small chair was
You
flung
can.
across the
I'm
room
not going to
in
talk
his
about this too
direction.
much.
These
Got
heart-pounding
weird
events have
baseboards
left
too.
cynical
I'm
questioning
really judgy
everything.
about
But
it.
are these videos genuine proof of the paranormal?
Stop drinking
Or possibly just
Coca-Cola. Stop
well-made
drinking
hoaxes?
pop like that.
You decide.
I get it. You know, it's hard to drink anything else. Water
Number
doesn't
8.
pique your interest, so
A
you got to
TikTok
trick your
user
brain
that
into
goes by
thinking it's interesting or
Smashling
something.
mostly
Or
just
like I
posts
drink
casual
coffee
videos
and I
of
drink
first
water and I
sight,
drink pop, but I
but
do
then
it in
recently
moderation.
changed when
Like
she
I'll have
found
one
herself looking
coffee,
for answers
and then
on
if I'm really
TikTok.
tired later, I might have a
One
second
night,
coffee,
a
but I'm not going to drink like
notification
4
from the
coffees bang
security
after
camera on
another.
her porch
It
popped
just
up
makes
on
me
her
feel like
phone.
crap, you
She
know?
wondered who
Same
could
with
be
pop. Like if I
outside
drink
because it
more
was
than like a
starting to
glass or
get
two of pop,
late.
I just start
And when
feeling
she
really
decided to
gross.
check the recording, her stomach dropped
Don't
at
drink
what she saw.
don't drink 2 liters of pop. Like Nick does that. He downs bottles, 2 liter bottles of fucking Coke Zero one after another, and it's crazy to me. My gut would just like bleh.
An
You know.
eerie figure dressed in white
There's
suddenly
practically
emerged from
nothing to
behind
say
a
about this one
tree.
that we haven't
This
said before.
mysterious figure bent down as it walked, almost as if it was trying to go unnoticed. But what had Smashley on edge was the fact that this being crept behind her car and never reappeared on the other side. From the way this figure quickly scurried behind the car, it seems
Guys,
to be up to no good.
I can
Whether this is something
I can add another 15 minutes worth of a video explaining this and really pad out my view times on this one, or my upload quota on this one. But let me just very quickly say we have a video on our YouTube channel. It's a YouTube short that explains how CCTV cameras are not ghosts. What it is, it's compression. The video is constantly recording. To save data, it freezes the frame until something moves in it, and then it has a hard time interpreting that because there's not enough light being returned to the iris of the camera to interpret what it's seeing. So it shows this aperture, or this aperture. What do you call them? Aperture? Ghost apparitions. And the fact is that it's not. There's two things that I could say about this one. The door opens after, so it's possible this is staged. There's a person who's like walking to the back of the car, and they're using the camera. They already understand that the compression on the camera makes it look this way, and they're sort of filming a ghost video for Halloween. And so they have somebody who's in a light ambiguous costume, sort of wandering towards the edge of the car, and then they've clipped it. Yes, the person never reappears from it, but we don't have 24-hour footage of this camera to determine that that's correct. We just have it on. We just take it of faith that this person is not lying to us. And so, for that fact, this is compression on a Ring camera, not being able to interpret an object moving out of frame, and not being able to interpret it wandering away from the frame, and then the person who posted it trying to get their 15 minutes of fame by saying that it never reappears. And the fact of the matter is there's nothing to go on here, guys. This is not a ghost. This is just poor camera quality and a person who's lying to you.
normal or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Make
So
sure to
it'd be
follow
nice
me
to
on
add.
Instagram to hear more
Oh, is that the
from
end of the
your
video?
boy. As always, if you enjoy
Thank
these creepy
Christ.
videos, then make sure
I would
to
I would
thumbs up
very
and
much like
subscribe
these
to
things
see
to
more
be
videos
real.
like
I would very much like these ghost sightings and ghost stuff to actually be factual. But unfortunately, it's just I really want real factual evidence to base my sightings off of, and so Nick and I want to collect that, a collection of EVPs of varying intensities, create a grading scale, being like that's a level 4 EVP, a very clear response to this particular comment, and so we're going to call that a level 4 EVP or a level 1 EVP, or a level 1 full body apparition FBA, a level 4 FBA, like that Ghostbusters looking motherfucker in the wine cellar. That was what I would consider a level 4 or even a level 5. And level 5 is full projection right in front of you, like physically there's visible and then not. Like a very clear EVP or FBA. So like a shadow person, like a shadow wandering by would be a level 1 FBA or a level 1 visual phenomenon. We'll call that a VFX. We'll call that a V, we'll figure out acronyms for it. But we're going to create like a grading scale on it, and then I'm going to start grading things, and then we're going to lower the grading depending on if we get better evidence and stuff like that, and sort of create this baseline of things. And so if somebody's out and about in the world and they've covered or they've recorded an EVP or a FBA, they can come to our website and compare their notes with other people, and then submit theirs to the website, to the archive, so that other people can come off and use it and sort of understand what they're seeing. And so a lot of this is going to essentially be like, this is what you saw, this is what it probably was. Like a lot of the CCTV cameras footage of moths that Nick was going on and on and on about. He's correct. He's 100% correct. They're bugs, they're spiders, they're moths and stuff like that. And here's a collection of clips that are moths that you can compare yours to and sort of go, yeah, that's probably a moth, Anyway, that's our plan for this. I'm going to end the video here. It's already 47 minutes long. Most of you have clicked off by now. So if you made it to the end, comment below. Epoxy seashell. Comment epoxy seashell so that I know that you made it to the end of the video. As always, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs down. Is that still a thing? Can you downvote videos? I don't even know anymore. But yeah, share your feedback in the comments below. We always value any kind of feedback. Do you not like the audio quality, the video quality, the actor? Do I talk too much? If you guys are here on this video and not on Fearsome Top 5's Top 8 Scary Ghost Videos that are ridiculously creepy, published on October 28th. If you're not here for me and you're here for that video, you are on the wrong channel, my guy. You are here to watch me talk about it. You're not here to watch their video. If you want to see their video, go to their channel, drop them a like, give them the publication, or give them the credit where the credit is due. As always, my name is Karis. This was You Don't Scare Me. I'm not scared. I did find one video that I want to, clip and say, hey, that was pretty cool. That's the UFO video. And yeah, that's going to do it for today. Have a good one. If you guys are American, happy early Thanksgiving. Which I think, oh, wait, no, I'm probably like a week or so early. Ours is October 14th. I think yours is November 24th. It's like a month before Christmas or something. Anyway, have a good one.